Here's why no matter what you do, you just can't seem to stick to your budget. Let's talk about the two main reasons I see and also how to fix them. Number one being you're being overly restrictive with your budget. When you try to overly restrict yourself, you're setting yourself up for failure. And then when you do fail and blow your budget, you feel really bad and it starts this cycle of shame. This makes you not even want to manage your money to begin with because you already think you're going to fail before you even start. You have to be realistic with your budget if you actually want to stick to it. The solution here is that you have to incorporate your spending habits into your budget. Now, how do you know your spending habits? Go back and look through your past bank statement and see where are you spending your money. Maybe you realize that you go out to eat a lot, or maybe you like to go to Home Depot and buy a lot of plants. You take those spending habits, the things you like to spend money on every month, and you build those into your budget. That way you give yourself wiggle room. You give yourself money to actually enjoy your money so that you do not feel completely restricted and you're more likely to actually stick to your budget. If you realize that you really like to eat out and you're overspending on that, give yourself a limit, build it into your budget. That way you can go out to eat without feeling guilty. If you love going out to eat and you do that consistently, do not try to make yourself go grocery shopping and cook every single meal at home in order to save a couple bucks because you're going to end up blowing it. And like I said, that creates a bad psychological effect. Number two is impulse spending, and a lot of us have a problem with this. So maybe you do create a good budget that gives yourself some wiggle room, but then when you go to the store, you still end up impulse spending on things that you did not budget for. The bottom line is you're going to have some self-control with this, but you can create rules and systems to help yourself succeed. The solution here is that you have to force yourself to pause, okay? And how you do that is creating rules like a waiting period or a savings match. A waiting period would basically be you see something you want to impulse purchase, you make yourself wait a predetermined amount of time, whether that's 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, it doesn't matter, but you're forcing the pause to think about it. And a lot of times you're not actually going to want that thing once the time period passes. But give yourself permission at the end of that waiting period, if you really just still have to have that thing, go ahead and get it. Another good rule is a savings match. So say you're out, you see something that you want to buy, and it was not in the budget. Tell yourself, I can buy this, but I also have to send the same amount of money to my savings account. If you cannot afford to do that, do not buy the thing. Also, I wanted to add Amazon on here because if you have a problem with just going on Amazon and impulse purchasing things, create a list for yourself of things that you really want. Add things to the list, and then as time goes on, maybe pick one thing per week or one thing per paycheck that you really want from that list and go ahead and buy it for yourself. This is, again, forcing you to pause. So instead of just buying it on the spot, you're adding it to that list. And then at a predetermined time, when you can purchase something off the list, you can go through and decide which of those things you want the most. You can enjoy your money and hit your goals. I think that there is this misconception in the money budgeting community that you have to completely lock yourself down and restrict yourself. And actually, that is causing the opposite thing to be true. It's causing you to not actually be able to be successful with budgeting because you are depriving yourself of every single thing, and that is just never going to work. The key is to have limits. The key is to have rules and systems for yourself to make yourself successful. So you can still enjoy that money, just give yourself limits. Those limits are going to depend on what your goals are. If you have a very aggressive savings goal, you might have to give yourself a little bit less to enjoy. But if you're okay with it taking a little longer, you can give yourself a bigger budget to spend. This is your money and your life. You get to design this and do it however you want that is going to work for you. The key is to listen to yourself, learn what works for you, learn your spending habits, and design your plan based on that. Creating a budget that you can actually stick to and setting up systems and rules in place for yourself to stop or curb impulse spending is going to help you see a lot more success than just trying to completely deprive yourself of everything you love. That's never going to work. So go create a budget for yourself, give yourself some wiggle room, and see how that works for you. You can tweak it over time and make it work. You got this, friend.